Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be doing chapter 6, verse 46. And here, Bhagwan Shri Krishna starts to talk about what a yogi is. He uses the word yogi a lot. So right now, I've been studying chapter 3, and I've been going through very intensely. Like I've written down all the translations. I've written them down, handwritten them down for chapter 3, 43 verses, and I've used the translations as is from like word by word, but and I've used words specifically, like I've not changed words like karma and yoga and things like that in my translation. So when I'm reading them, and my plan is what I've been doing is reading all through all the 43 verses once a day, and I've been trying to memorize it. So I think now I've memorized up to verse 14, not the verses, not the Sanskrit verses, but the translations, the meanings, the translations with the Sanskrit words, with the specific Sanskrit words that I need, like karma and yoga and all that. As is. So when I do this exercise, so I'm going to do this for the next few months, just focus on chapter 3 and become an expert at chapter 3. That's what I've been deciding. And I'm listening to lectures on chapter 3. And every day I'm listening to lectures on chapter 3, which has been great. I'm listening to Swami Sarvapriyanand right now, but I want to listen also to the ISKCON people, get the Bhakti Yoga perspective. So I'm not an impersonalist. Swami Sarvapriyanand is an impersonalist. I'm not, for sure. So I ignore those parts where he talks about Aham Brahmasmi, which is about, I am God. I don't subscribe to that, although I don't have Shastric scriptural evidence for that right now as to why that doesn't work for me. But intuitively, I feel that it doesn't. I don't think that's the I from my intuition, I don't feel like that's the absolute truth, and I think absolute truth is Bhakti Yoga. But I will go towards. I will eventually, over the years, whenever I'll figure out what the scriptural proof is for that, and I'm going to go deep into that. But Swami Sarvapriyanand really explains it beautifully, the actual verse. So I'm listening to him, and I'm going to be listening to other ISKCON leaders as well, preachers as well, to get both of them, and to find people who actually explain the verse in a very clear, clear way. Okay, I don't know why I'm going into that right now. Okay, so yeah, what I was saying is that when I do chapter 6 in that way, whenever I get to that, I'm going to absolutely love this verse. I can see that because it's going to help tie in things. I can see that this is like one of those pivoting verses that ties in things. So he's giving the hierarchy right now, that yogi is greater than these three things that he mentioned. So let's sing the verse together and we'll figure out what he's saying. Okay. तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानेभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मेभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन. Okay, so what he's saying is that a yogi is greater than an ascetic, greater than empiricist, and greater than fruitive worker. Therefore, Arjun, in all circumstances, be a yogi. So I'm going to go here because he's translated it more simply. A yogi is superior to a tapasvi. So tapasvi, he's using that, like this is exactly how I've translated, right? I've kept these words, tapasvi, jnani, and karmi, which he has used here exactly. So then it's easier for me to understand because I understand tapasvi. It's a Hindi word, so I have an understanding of it already, and I don't have to translate. It makes it clearer to me. So a yogi is superior to the tapasvi. So then the ascetics, tapasvibhya adhikah, superior yogi. Yogi is superior to ascetic, tapasvi. Superior to a jnani, a person who is knowledgeable. So then the person jnanibhya, then persons of learning, even considered matah. So it's also considered superior to jnani, to a jnani. Adhika, superior. Karmebhya, then the ritualistic performance. Karmi, a person who does karma for the fruitive results. So, cha. So also superior, cha adhika, cha, to the ritualistic performance, a yogi. So superior to the so a yogi is superior to the tapasvi, then to the person it's also considered superior to the jnani, and a yogi superior to the karmi. Therefore, O Arjun, just become a yogi. Therefore, O Arjun, just become a yogi. So now here he explains it beautifully. He says, a tapasvi, what are these? Tapasvi, jnani, karmi, what are these? A tapasvi is one who accepts voluntary mortification and lives an extremely austere lifestyle, refraining from sensual pleasures and accumulation of material wealth, as in aid of pursuit of salvation. So it's very, very austere person, people who go into the forest and they'll just sit for days, months, whatever, years, and they'll do tapasya. That's tapasvi. Jnani is a person of learning who actively engages in the cultivation of knowledge. So these are three, you can see that these are three very different people. People who do tapasya, they're not studying at that time, they're just meditating upon whatever they're meditating on and just being very, very austere. And then a jnani is a person who's cultivating knowledge, who's learning. And many people will do a mix of both. Tapasya would be to wake up at 4 in the morning or whatever. That is tapasya as well. Or there's all kinds of tapasya that you can do, making sure that you cook every morning for Krishna or something like that. And then jnani is learning, so people can do a mix of both, and most people will do a mix of all. And karmi is a person who performs Vedic rituals. He has spoken about this in chapter 3. Prajapati sent Praja in verse 10. He said, Prajapati, in the beginning, Prajapati sent Praja to along with yagya, and said, with this you will be pleased, right? And then he said that there is this system that has been created. Demigods will be pleased, in verse 11, demigods will be pleased by your sacrifices and will please you, and you will have param shreya, which means you will have ultimate fortune. You will have, so that is karmi, a person who does that yagya for demigods in order to attain material opulence and celestial abodes. That's karmi. So Sri Krishna says yogi is superior to all of them. Now, what does yogi exactly mean? We'll probably get to it. The reason is simple. The goal of the karmi, jnani, and tapasvi is worldly attainment. So even the karmi who is doing Vedic rituals and sacrifices and who's doing yagya, he's also doing them for material stuff. He's doing them because he wants whatever money, or he wants the higher abodes. He wants to be in the Indrilok or those kinds of things. He's not doing, but that's a place where you go for material enjoyment, even though it's higher planetary system than Earth, but you go there for material enjoyment, and it's very difficult from there to do bhakti or spiritual growth because you're enjoying so much and you don't have any pain, so you don't have any need. Pain is a great instigator for spiritual growth, so there's no need for that, and you'll fall back down eventually on Earth. Earth is the place where you can go to get spiritual attainment. You can go to Golok Vrindavan, where Bhagwan Shri Krishna and Radha live. So so the karmi is very much worldly, even if you're trying to go to the higher planets. Tapasvi is worldly, they're trying to get salvation, but they're trying to get like there's the tapasvi who's not focused meditating on God, but is just meditating and being austere, who's detaching from the world but not attaching to God, that is still not perfect. And then jnani also, I mean, I'm not sure how that is worldly attainment actually, the jnani and tapasvi. I mean, I'm not certain how that is worldly attainment. I mean, the tapasvi depends on what, if you're not attaching to God, then yes, you're not going to, you can merge with Brahman, I guess. So that's not exactly worldly either. I don't know. So the yogi is striving not for the world, but for God. So what is yogi exactly? He'll explain, I think, in the next verse. As a result, the yogi's accomplishment is at the spiritual platform and superior to them all. So Prabhupada here talks about that. He says that he is not mentioned in this verse that he's said yoga is better than all of these, but he's not said that it's better than bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga is full spiritual knowledge, and he's going to talk about it clearly in the next verse. So we'll get to know in the next verse. Okay, that's it for this video. We'll do chapter 6 verse 47 in the next video. Wish you a day filled with spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.